السلام عليكم. اليوم معاكم المعلمة احلام ابو لبدة في مديرية التربية والتعليم في جنين. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic in our 11th grade curriculum, which is the business letter. Okay, so letters are very important for 11th graders to know because they are going to be taking it next year in their tawjihi class. So it's very important to pay attention to the main features of business letters. Okay, so we have in our 11th grade writing composition, we have unit 4 in your pupil's book about job applications. Okay, so let's begin by saying about the language features that we have that distinguish between the formal and the non-formal letters. This is very important because it's kind of a new topic to maybe some of you students. So please pay attention to these points. First of all, in our formal letters, no abbreviations are allowed. So you can't write CEO in this form or USA, for example, in this form. You have to spell it out completely. So if you want to mention CEO, you have to say the full name of the word. USA is the same. You have to say United States of America, okay? The second point we have is no contractions are allowed, such as I am or I'd. So you can't put them together. You have to spell out the word in its full form. So you say I am and you say I would, okay? So in this part, the first part of the point is for the formal, and the second part is for the informal. So we would say I'm for the informal, and we would say I am for the formal, okay? The third point we have is the greeting. For the greeting, we cannot begin any formal letter with hi or hello, okay? Because hi or hello is for the informal letters. Okay, so we have to say dear, and this is standard, so you can't use any word other than dear. Next we have is the ending of the letter. You have to close your letter with a kind of a greeting also. So we say sincerely or we say best regards. Okay, these are for the formal letter, or you say yours faithfully. You cannot say with love or best wishes. These are between informal letters, which are between friends and families and close relatives. Okay. The last one we have is no brackets are allowed in the formal letter, so you cannot use brackets. So you can't add a note that you forgot, for example, by saying I suggest giving you the payment in 2 weeks. So this is not allowed. If you want to add something in the letter, just add it directly after your point, okay? Don't add any brackets. These are for the language features, okay? So let's move on to the main elements of the business letter. We will start with the address, which is the first thing that the student has to write. The address, we have the sender's address, which is going to be on the top right corner of the page, and we have the receiver's address. Okay, so we have the sender and we have the receiver. The sender's address is going to be on the top right. So we gave you an example here. We have 2 addresses, okay? So this address, top right corner, is going to be the sender, and at the opposite side, you have to skip one line, and at the opposite side, you put the sender's address, okay? So the address, according to the place of it, you have to go from specific to general, okay? So we have here the road, and then the apartment, and then the building, and then we have the date, okay? You could put the state, you could put the country, and then the date at the end, okay? So this is for the address. After the address, we will start by writing the salutation or the greeting. As we said before, that the formal letters we use dear, sir or madam, or dear Mr. or Mrs. Okay, if we know the person's name, if we know the receiver's full name, we use Mr., Mrs., and that's it, only these 2. Okay, if we don't know his name, we just say sir or madam. Okay. So after this, we have to put a comma after the name of the person, and then we could start our letter. So we have an example here. We have Dear Mr. Brennan. We know the person's name, so we put his name, we put Mr. full name, and then we put a comma, and it's usually his family name, okay? Okay, moving on to the first paragraph of our letter. First paragraph is the most important part of the business letter because it's the first thing that the receiver will read. So he will introduce himself normally, and then he will state his main purpose of his letter, okay? That is why it's the most important part of the letter. So here we have an example for you. I just read an article in the News and Observer about Taylor's new computer center. So Taylor here is the name of the company. Just north of Durham. I would like to apply for a position as an entry-level programmer at the center. So here, what is the purpose of the letter? He wants to apply for a position as an entry-level programmer, okay? So here we put the main idea, the main purpose of the letter, and then we will follow it by the paragraph number 2, which will show more details of the request or the order you want to the receiver to comprehend or to get. And then we use also in this paragraph, you have to use simple language, you have to use understandable language, so it will be easier to be delivered, okay? So following the previous introduction, the same topic, we have an example. I understand that Taylor produces both in-house and customer documentation. My technical writing skills, as described in the enclosed resume, are well suited to your company. I am recent graduate of DeVry Institution of Technology in Atlanta with an associate degree in computer science. In addition to having taken a broad range of courses, I served as a computer consultant at the college's computer center where I helped train users to work with new systems. So here we can observe that the person here mentioned his main skills, his qualifications, where he studied in order to apply for the job. So in the first paragraph, you just state that you want to apply for this job, you want to apply for this company. And then in the second paragraph, we said you go into more details, you describe yourself more, you say your skills more, your qualifications more, so you can convince the receiver for your request. Last paragraph would include the conclusion of your letter. You will provide your further contact information if the receiver wants to contact you in the later days, okay? So here we have, I will be happy to meet you at your convenience and discuss how my education and experience match your needs, okay? And then at the end, you can reach me at my home address, and you put either your phone number, your email address, whatever you like, okay? So last paragraph is that you conclude your letter by giving your future details, contact details, okay? Okay. As for the closing of the letter, we said at the beginning how we can begin the letter, which is the greeting. So at the end, closing the letter in the formal form is by either, we said sincerely, or best regards, or yours faithfully, okay? After these two words, we put a comma. So a comma is added after both of these words. After the comma, the sender will put his full name. At the bottom, he will skip a line and he will put his full name, as we can see here in the example. We have sincerely, comma, Raymond Kroc. So as you did for the greeting, it's kind of similar for the ending. That will be all. Before we close, we have an example. We have example from the curriculum itself for you to link it to the book. We have in Unit 4, Period 6, page 47. We have an application form for the tour guide. So at the corner of your book, at the corner of the page, we have a cover letter for this kind of job. Okay, so we can see here, dear sir or madam. As we said, sir or madam is used only if we don't know the person's name, the sender's name. and then we start I enclose. This is a cover letter, okay? So it's going to be very short. A cover letter is a letter that is enclosed or is attached to the main letter to give a hint to the sender, to the receiver, that there is another form that is attached to my cover letter, okay? So I enclose my application form for the position of tour guide. If you need any further information, please contact me. So the further information, as we said, is for the last paragraph in our business letter, okay? And at the end, I look forward to hearing from you. Yours faithfully. Here we put a comma and we put the full name, as we said. In the end, I want to give you a full writing composition just to sum it all up and wrap it. So as we said, we have first of all the address. We have the address of the sender and we have the address of the receiver. And then we start by dear Mrs. Jones. Here we know the person, so we put his full name, his last name, sorry. And then we begin by the introduction, which we said what? We said that the introduction has to have you have to introduce yourself, and then you state the main purpose of the letter, okay? So I am seeking a position in your engineering department. So this is the first main purpose of the letter. So here the person put his purpose in the first few words, okay? I may use my training in computer science to solve Taylor's engineering problems. I would like to be a part of the department that developed the internet selection system, but I am unsure whether you have a current opening, okay? So he stated the problem. He wants a job at his this department, which is the engineering department, of course. So in the next paragraph, what is he going to do? As we said, he's going to state his qualifications, his skills, needed details, okay? So I expect to receive a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from North Carolina State University in June, and by that time I will have completed the Computer Systems Engineering program. Since September 2000, I have been practicing through the university in the professional training program at Computer Systems International in Raleigh. In the program, I was assigned to several staff selections as an apprentice. Most recently, I have been a programmer trainee in the engineering department and have gained a great deal of experience in computer applications. Details of the academic courses I have taken are included in the enclosed resume. So this is the enclosed resume. As we said, it's called a cover letter, okay? So the resume, or the CV as we know it, will be attached to this letter in order for the sender to back up his application for this job. At the end, as we said, so we have paragraph 3 is putting more details into his contact information. So we have, if there is any position open at Taylor Company, please let me know whom I should contact for further information. I look forward to hearing from you soon. I may be reached at my office at this kind of number, and he put his email. Lastly, we said, which is the ending or the closing of the letter, he put sincerely, comma, and his full name of the sender, not the receiver, of the sender, okay, which is Rebecca Brooke. And that would be all, and thank you for watching.